Okay, so the last part of our process before we start carving is to take a look at our lines and determine whether or not we need to make some of them bolder or not, or thicker or not, and then also decide what areas on our piece we want to keep black or raised, so uncarved, and then what areas in our design we want to carve away. Okay, so meaning the white areas. I think you'll see what I mean in just a moment. So this is my sort of coloring book style image right now. It's very black and white, very sort of outliney, okay? And I want to share with you a couple of examples, okay? So these were some prints, stamps that I had printed, so some block prints that I created. So this is an example of one of mine. And one thing that I want you all to think about is I want you to think about carved areas. Okay, so anything that is the color of the paper is what I carved away versus the black areas. So the black area is what I left behind, all right? Now notice within this particular image how there's a really nice balance between areas that are carved away, okay, and then the black areas that I left behind. When you have a stamp that looks like this, number one, it's interesting. Number two, it's also easier to print, okay? Because you have a balance between carved areas, the paper, color of the paper, and then inked areas, the areas that are left behind. It's a little bit easier for you to hold your paper down, to burnish or rub the back of it when you're pulling a print, okay? Versus something that's entirely outlined like this, okay? So what I want us to start thinking about is the black areas versus the white areas. Here's another example. Okay, so this was a rabbit carving that I did. You can see the areas that are left that I carved away. Okay, so that again, that's the color of the paper, which is kind of this pinkish color, versus the black areas, which are raised, which I left behind. See how there is a nice balance between the black areas, what's left behind, and the carved areas. This was a lot easier to print than something that is just an outlined coloring book style image, okay? So at this point in time, I know just from looking on the internet that the toucan has this part of their body is black. All right, so I'm gonna take my pencil right now and just kind of shade that in. Okay, so I'm gonna do that lightly here. Okay, so this will be an area that I will leave raised later on. Okay, so I'm not gonna carve away that section of the body. Okay. And again, I'm just doing this in graphite, so I can change my mind. I can erase it if needed. Okay. So right now I have one black area. What this will mean here is if this black area is raised, I'm going to have to then carve on my black lines here to get those to show. Okay. So just to give you an idea about that. All right. Now the next thing is I have to decide, okay, what might be another good darker area to have within my design. Okay, maybe it is the leaves behind the toucan. Okay, so maybe what I do is I keep the leaves behind the toucan raised. Okay, so keep them black. And I carve away the veining of the leaves. I think I like that idea a lot. So the leaf itself, I wouldn't carve away. I would just carve these veins that kind of go through it. Okay. I think I'm going to leave the background white. And then I think what I would like to do is maybe do one other dark area just for balance. The way you want to think about this is maybe a 60-40 or 50-50 ratio of dark to light. Okay, so carved to uncarved essentially is what you're thinking about. Okay, so this is what I have. My last area could be this branch, okay, that the toucan's sitting on. It could be this leaf here. Okay, maybe I'll opt for the leaf here. And that'll be my last area to give me that 60-40 or 50-50 ratio, depending on what it is you're looking for, of carved to uncarved surfaces. And again, if I'm leaving this leaf black, what that means is I'm going to carve away, I'm going to carve on this black line of the veining itself. One last thing to mention here is because this area, I'll show you, is black, and the toucan's head is also a little bit black here, I'm going to leave myself a little tiny strip of white to separate the two. That'll ensure that they don't blend into one another. Okay? All right. So this is what I have so far. I have lines in my design that are bold. Okay. I've decided within my design what I want to be the carved area. Okay, so the white area that's carved, that will be the color of the paper. And what are going to be the black areas, the raised areas, the areas that stay behind, okay? And again, we're looking for balance within your image, which makes it a little bit more interesting, and it also makes it easier for you to print.